dust, everywhere. It was as if the very air had turned to ash, suffocating everything it touched. It choked the skeletal remains of skyscrapers, shrouding them in a perpetual twilight. These once proud structures, now mere shadows of their former selves, stood as silent sentinels in a world that had forgotten them. Sunbeams, weak and anemic, struggled to pierce the dust clouds, casting an eerie orange glow on the ruins below. The light seemed to fight a losing battle, barely illuminating the desolation that stretched as far as the eye could see. Nature had begun to reclaim this concrete jungle. In the absence of human life, the earth was taking back what was once hers. Vines snaked up crumbling walls, their emerald tendrils a stark contrast to the gray decay. It was a strange, almost beautiful juxtaposition, life thriving amidst death. Rusted hulks of cars lay forgotten, half swallowed by creeping vegetation. These relics of a bygone era were now nothing more than homes for small creatures and nests for birds that dared to venture into the city. This was the world now, a place where the past and present collided in a haunting tableau of ruin and rebirth, a graveyard of forgotten dreams. The silence was unnerving. It was as if the city had been holding its breathing, trying to anticipate something, anything to break the silence. Broken only by the mournful sigh of the wind whistling through shattered windows like a lament for a bygone era. The wind carried with it the echoes of a time when these streets were alive with the hustle and bustle of daily life. No birdsong, no laughter, simply the awful weight of quiet pushing downwards like a heavy covering. Now the ghosts of souvenirs communicate in the quickly. They spoke of a time when this city was vibrant, full of life and energy. It had become not much more than a shell that was empty.
I gripped the handlebars of my hoverbike tighter, the worn leather familiar under my calloused fingers. It was a small comfort in a world that offered so few. It was my sole company in this barren wasteland. My lifeline. My name is Jericho. In this world, names were more than just labels, they were a declaration of existence. At least that's what I call myself now. The person I was before is long gone, buried under the rubble of this broken world. The past is a luxury I can't afford. Memories are dangerous, they can make you weak, make you hesitate. And in this world, hesitation is a death sentence. Survival is all that matters in this shattered world. Any given day is a battle to obtain nourishment, shelter, and water. The basics of life have become precious commodities. And today, survival meant outrunning the scavengers. These were not just desperate people, they were predators, hunting the weak and the vulnerable. They were relentless, these gangs who preyed on the weak. They moved through the city like a plague, leaving destruction in their wake. But I was nobody's prey, not anymore. I had learned to fight, to survive. I had become something more than just a victim.
A high-pitched whine cut through the silence. It was the sound of danger, a warning that the scavengers were near. My heart pounded against my ribs, a drumbeat of fear and adrenaline. They were close, too close. I pushed the hoverbike harder, its engine sputtering in protest. The situation was a struggle against time, a frantic attempt to survive. The chilly breeze ripped at my face, resulting from my hair to fly over my eyes. It was a small inconvenience compared to the danger that lurked behind me. I couldn't shake them. Not for long, but I had to try. I had to survive, given that surviving was the most important thing in this planet. The drones appeared as shimmering specks in the distance, growing rapidly larger. They moved with an eerie precision, their formation tight and unwavering like a swarm of mechanical locusts descending upon their prey. The hum of their engines grew louder, a menacing symphony that sent shivers down my spine. Their metallic bodies glinted menacingly in the dim sunlight, reflecting the dying rays in a way that made them seem almost alive. Each drone was a marvel of engineering, sleek and deadly, designed for one purpose: to hunt and destroy. The sun's light danced off their surfaces, creating a dazzling display that belied their lethal intent. Each one bristled with weapons, ready to tear me from the sky. Missiles, lasers, and other armaments jutted out from their frames, a testament to the relentless pursuit of technological warfare. The sight of them was enough to make anyone's blood run cold, knowing that each weapon was calibrated for maximum efficiency and destruction.
I gritted my teeth, my pulse quickening. Adrenaline rushed through my veins, heightened my senses, and sharpened my focus. Every beat of my heart echoed in my ears, a constant reminder of the stakes at hand. tension was palpable, a physical weight pressing down on me as I prepared for the inevitable confrontation. There was no escape, not in the open. The enormous stretch of the wasteland provided no protection or refuge from the continuous bombardment. I was exposed, vulnerable, a sitting duck in the face of such overwhelming firepower. The compassion hit me like a blow in the stomach, getting out me gasping for air. I needed cover, and fast. My focus scoured the horizon, desperately looking for any kind of refuge. The scenery was bleak, a grim reflection of what once was. Every second counted, and the pressure to find a hiding spot grew with each passing moment. My eyes darted across the ruined cityscape, searching for any sign of refuge. The remnants of buildings stood like skeletal sentinels, their crumbling facades offering little in the way of protection. Yet, amidst the rubble and decay, there was a glimmer of hope, a chance to evade the mechanical predators that hunted me. And then I saw it, a glint of metal, half hidden beneath a tangle of overgrown vines. It was a small, almost imperceptible detail, but in that moment it was a lifeline. The vines clung to the structure like nature's attempt to reclaim what was once hers, but the metallic sheen was unmistakable. There appeared to be the entrance to an underground tunnel. The opening was narrow, barely wide enough for my hoverbike, but it was a chance I had to take. The darkness beyond the entrance was foreboding, but it promised safety from the aerial threat that loomed above. It was an expensive-made attempt, but my only hope. The opportunities appeared to be against myself, while the alternative was unimaginable. I had to trust my instincts, to believe that this tunnel would lead me to safety. It was a gamble, a desperate bid for survival in a world gone mad.
I veered sharply, the hoverbike groaning under the sudden change in direction. The vehicle responded sluggishly, its systems strained by the abrupt maneuver. I could feel the vibrations through the handlebars, a testament to the bike's age and the harsh conditions it had endured. The drones were almost on me now, their weapons firing. The air was filled with the sound of explosions and the whine of energy beams, a cacophony of destruction that threatened to overwhelm my senses. Each shot brought them closer, their relentless pursuit a testament to their programming. The air crackled with energy as laser fire scorched the ground behind me. The heat was intense, a searing reminder of the danger that nipped at my heels. The ground erupted in plumes of dirt and debris, each impact a stark reminder of how close I was to being obliterated. One of the beams clipped the back of my bike, sending sparks flying. The impact jolted me, nearly throwing me off balance. I attempted to keep control, my knuckles becoming white as I absorbed the handlebars. The bike shuddered, its system struggling to compensate for the damage. I winced, the smell of burning metal filling my nostrils. It was a pungent, acrid scent that spoke of imminent failure. The bike's systems were failing, and I knew I had precious little time before it gave out completely. The entrance to the tunnel loomed closer. It was a beacon of hope in the midst of chaos, a promise of safety if I could just reach it in time. The darkness within was inviting, a stark contrast to the fiery hell that raged behind me. I seized my breath, hoping that this wasn't a dead end. The uncertainty gnawed at me, but I had no choice but to press on. Every fiber of my being was focused on reaching that tunnel, on escaping the relentless pursuit of the drones. At the last second, I ducked low over the handlebars and plunged into the darkness. The transition was abrupt, the sudden absence of light disorienting. The chilly air within the tunnel enveloped me, striking against the intense heat of the fighting outside. The roar of the drones faded behind me, replaced by an eerie silence. The silence was almost deafening, an immediate remembrance of the risks I had just avoided. The underground walls continued to shut in on me, their sucking up presence constant warning of my near escape. The air was complicated with the smells of damp soil and spoil. It was a musty, almost suffocating scent that spoke of long-forgotten places. The tunnel was ancient, its walls lined with the detritus of a bygone era. Each breath was a struggle, the air heavy with the weight of history. I cut the engine and let the hoverbike coast to a stop, my chest heaving. The solitary atmosphere was almost awkward, a stark antithesis to the disorder from which I had just experienced. My body ached, every muscle protesting the sudden cessation of movement. I was safe for the time being, merely the danger was not ran out. The tunnel was pitch black, the darkness absolute. It was a void, an abyss that seemed to swallow all light. My eyes strained to adjust, but there was nothing to see. The darkness was complete, a blanket that enveloped me in its embrace. I fumbled for the flashlight attached to my belt, my fingers trembling. The cold metal of the flashlight was a comfort, a tangible reminder that I was still alive. My hands shook as I tried to steady myself, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. I turned it on, the glow piercing the darkness like an illumination. The light was a welcome relief, piercing the darkness and revealing the tunnel's interior. The walls were lined with ancient graffiti, a testament to the people who had once sought refuge here. The spotlight lighted the pathway ahead, providing guidance in the dark. The tunnel was narrow, barely wide enough for the bike. The walls seemed to close in on me, the darkness pressing from all sides. It felt like riding through the veins of the earth itself, a hidden passage known only to a few. The walls were concrete, scarred and cracked with age. Each fracture and break expressed a story about time's endless approach. The tunnel had seen better days, perhaps once a bustling artery of activity, now reduced to a forgotten relic. I pushed forward cautiously, the beam of my flashlight dancing over the darkness. Shadows leapt and twisted, creating eerie shapes that played tricks on my mind. Every step was a gamble, every sound amplified in the stillness. The air became substantially cooler, providing a welcome break from the scorching heat outside. It was as if the tunnel itself was breathing, exhaling a chill that seeped into my bones. The coolness was a balm, soothing the sweat and fatigue of the journey. Following what appeared like a lifetime, the pathway opened up into a large cavern. The transition was sudden, the narrow confines giving way to an expansive void. My flashlight struggled to pierce the darkness, revealing only glimpses of the enormity before me. I was taken aback by what I saw. It was an entire galaxy within its own identity, hidden from the view of its surroundings. The cavern was a cathedral of stone, its ceiling lost in shadow, its walls echoing with the whispers of the past. The traces of a gigantic edifice lay in the very center of the cavern, lit by my flashlight's fragile glow. It was a testament to human ingenuity and ambition, now reduced to a ghostly silhouette. The structure loomed, a quiet custodian of hidden mysteries. It was a laboratory of some kind, its once gleaming metal surfaces now rusted and covered in dust. The air reeked of deteriorate and despair. This place had been abandoned in haste, leaving behind the remnants of a once thriving hub of discovery. Broken equipment lay scattered across the floor, silent testament to a forgotten era. Each piece was a fragment of a larger puzzle, a clue to the lives and work of those who had once called this place home. The silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the bustling activity that must have once filled these halls. I dismounted the bike, my boots crunching on shattered glass. The sound echoed through the cavern, a reminder of the fragility of human endeavor. Each of the stride was a voyage through history, and each crunch served as a reminder of time.
If you're seeing this, then it means we failed. The voice was loaded with remorse, a haunting reminder of a previous decision. It was a message from those who had come before, a warning and a plea. The world as we knew it is gone, but there's still hope. The old town's ruins stood as a monument to human perseverance and the will to make it through. Even in the face of destruction, there was a glimmer of possibility, a chance to rebuild. We managed to create something, a key. The scientist's voice trembled with emotion, the weight of their discovery evident. This key was more than just an object, it was a symbol of hope, a beacon in the darkness, a way to reverse the damage, to start again. The lab was a hive of activity, filled with the hum of machinery and the focused energy of those working tirelessly. This was the heart of their efforts, the culmination of years of research and sacrifice. The future rested in their hands, and with it, the hope of a new beginning.